What's up everybody, Weston here, back with another daily deck tech video, and today we have a viewer request. We have Teval, Arbiter of Virtue. So, a little bit of disclaimer, I am not a huge graveyard player. I never played Dredge in Legacy, although one of my friends did. Not a huge delve enjoyer, so I tried my best with this one, so if you see any errors or anything like that, please let me know in the comments down below what you would do better, what you would do differently, because ultimately together, not just me, but everybody in this community could look at this deck, kind of give suggestions in the comments, and between the build that I came up with and what everybody has in the comments, the requester might find something that they really enjoy. Now, the stipulations were that it had to be Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, and then no Exsanguinate. I very much remember putting that into my notes, no Exsanguinate. So, who is Teval, Arbiter of Virtue? He's a 6/6 for 2 generic, and then black, green, and blue with flying, lifelink. Spells you cast have delve, which means each card in your graveyard can be exiled to reduce it by 1 generic, and then whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana. So it's going to be a self-mill Reanimator style deck. We do have a few X casting spells in here. Again, no Exsanguinate, nothing like that. But we're going to see what we're able to do with it. So, for creatures, we got 16 of them in here. We got Deathrite Shaman, which is exile a land card from a graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color. You can exile target instant or sorcery from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2. And then you can exile a creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. So this is a neat little way to utility. You can remove your own stuff, but I usually, when I play with my Deathrite Shaman, I usually exile my opponent's stuff. It's a good way of getting back some of the life that you will be losing. We have Eternal Witness here, get something back from your graveyard. We do have ourselves Blightsteel Colossus. It's this version from the Secret Lair because I updated to cheapest for everything. It's got Trample, Infect, and Indestructible, and if it would be put in the graveyard from anywhere, it gets shuffled into your library. So this is useful for 2 reasons. One, you can cast the Blightsteel Colossus and get it down, and Delve will make it a lot cheaper. 2, it could help prevent you from losing the game by being able to be shuffled into your library, keeping you from decking. We have Golgari, Grave Troll, which when it enters the battlefield, it enters with a 1/1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. And then you can pay 1, remove a 1/1 counter from Golgari Grave Troll to regenerate it, and then it has Dredge 6. Dredge is an old and busted mechanic from original Ravnica, with if you would draw a card, you may mill 6 cards instead. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. We have Gary here. Gary is here to get us life back. That's pure and simple what he's here to do for. We have Hydroid Crassus, which is you may, when you cast a spell, you gain half X life and draw half X cards, rounded down each time. So it's only going to cost you half the amount of life that it would. Flying, Trample, and Hydroid Crassus enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it. We have Ice Till Explorer. It lets you play an additional land each turn, and then you can play lands from your graveyard, and then landfall. When a land you control enters, you mill a card. We have Kishla Skimmer, which is flying, and whenever a card leaves your graveyard during your turn, you draw a card. This triggers only once each turn. I did put Luen in here because I was kind of impressed when I was goldfishing the Luen deck that I built for yesterday's deck tech. Or day before yesterday's deck tech. When Luen enters, mill 4 cards, then you may put a creature or land card from among the milled cards on top of your library, and then you can make a whole bunch of worms for each land card in your graveyard. We have Milliken in here, so it mills, adds a generic. We have Muldrotha, lets you cast you may play a land and cast a permanent of each permanent type from your graveyard. We have Platinum Empyrean, so your life total can't change. So if you get Platinum Empyrean in play and then you play your other spells, you're not going to take the hit to your life total from Teval. We do have Skull Prophet. We have Stitcher's Supplier, which is when it enters the battlefield or dies, mill 3 cards. We have Timeless Witness, which is Eternal Witness, but if it gets milled, you can eternalize it to get its effect. And we have Uro, which has Escape. Fun fact for Platinum Empyrean, I actually tested this when I played Legacy in my 12-post sideboard. It was an interesting ad. It did win me a couple games, but overall it was odd. We have Doppelgang. which is triple X and Simic. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of that permanent. If you want to be a real jerk, go ahead and copy your Gary a whole bunch of times. You know, delve, get Gary, make lots of Gary. Everybody loses life, you gain life. We've got a little bit of ramp in here with Farseek and Sky Shard Claim. We have Finale of Devastation, which lets you search your library and or graveyard for a creature card mana value X or less, put it on the battlefield. And then if you paid 10 or more, it gets +X and haste until end of turn. We got Genesis Wave. I love this card. It's a big splashy card. You reveal the top X cards from your library, and you can put any number of permanent cards with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. We have Glimpse the Unthinkable. This is actually one of my all-time favorite cards from back in the day. I need to pick up a playset of them. I loved this deck, or this card. I tried to make a Legacy Mill deck. It just didn't work at the time, but I love it. But it just says target player mills 10. Living Death takes all the creatures in play and kills them, and takes all the creatures in the graveyard and puts them into play. Pest Infestation, especially with Delve, this is pretty high value. You're able to blow up a whole bunch of people's artifacts and enchantments and get a whole bunch of little black pests that when they die, you gain 1 life. We have Psychic Drain. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, and then you gain X life. Reanimate's in here, Regrowth to get a card back. Rise of the Dark Realms, which is put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Singularity Rupture, which is a Wrath of God effect, and then any number of target players each mill half their library rounded down. This card is fun, this card is silly, and I have it in the, like, what is the art? 1 second, friends. I think, yeah, this right here. That's my copy of it. It's pretty cool. We have Toxic Deluge for classic removal, and then we have Treasure Cruise for some draw. For instance, we do have, again, some ramp with Harrow and Antish Restoration. We have Oral Procession, which is return target card from your graveyard to your hand. We have Beast Within for a little bit of removal. We have Cabal Ritual and Dark Ritual for a little bit of ramp. Entomb to let us tutor something up and put it into the graveyard. Since we are running a little bit of Reanimate stuff in the deck, we could be able to get it back. Frantic Search lets you draw a discard. Grapple with the Past. Mill 3 cards so you can return a creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. And Midnight Tilling, which is mill 4 cards and then you may return a permanent card from among them to your hand. Notice Wizards has a lot of these generic effects. Artifacts for Mana Rocks, we got Arcane Signet, we got Soul Ring, we got Fellwar Stone. We do have our boots made for walking. We finally have a use for the End Stone. I have been trying myself to find a use for the End Stone. And here it is, right? You know, if you are getting low on life because you're paying so many things, this resets it to half your life total, so at least you'll be sitting at 20. But it has whenever you play a land or cast a spell, you draw a card, and at the beginning of your end step, your life total becomes half your starting life total rounded up. We have Plantier of Orthanc. This card's really strong. I thought it was really underrated when it came out, and I see that people must be seeing the way in the light with this thing, because it's 23 bucks now. At the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on the Plantier and scry 2, then an opponent may have you draw a card. If they don't, you mill X, where X is the number of influence counters on the Plantier, and then that player loses life equal to the total mana value of the cards revealed. We got Soul Conduit, which is 2 target players exchange life totals. This is a little cheesy. You could also put like there's other effects like this. I keep wanting to say Reverse the Sands, but that's in white. Then we have the Soul Stone. This is why the deck is pretty expensive. Like, this alone adds $75 to the deck value. It is indestructible. You add black, you exile a creature you control, so exile one of your little pest tokens or worm tokens, and then it is harnessed. And at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So a little bit of Reanimator there. For our enchantments, we have ourselves Animate Dead for some Reanimator. We have Awaken the Honored Dead, which destroys a non-land permanent, mills 3. And you may discard a card. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. We have Glacierwood Siege, which is when it enters, you choose Teamer or Sultai. If you choose Teamer, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery card or spell, target player mills 4 cards. And Sultais, you may play lands from your graveyard. Insidious Roots, Creature tokens, you have Birds of Paradise effect, and whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 0/1 plant creature token, and then put a 1/1 on each plant you control. We have Omniscience in here, because why not, since we can make it cheaper with Delve. Ripples of Undeath, which is a really good card from Modern Horizons 3. I have a billion of these things. I need to make some... I run one in my Zoo Ifit deck. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, mill 3 cards, then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand. We have Sultai Ascendancy, so at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top 2 cards of your library. You can put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. We have the Meat Hook Massacre. We have Titan's Rest, which is at the beginning of your upkeep. Look at the top card of your library. You can put it into your graveyard, and then you can exile a card from your graveyard to add a colorless. Spend this mana only to cast colored spells without X in its mana cost. So note that's not useful for like your Genesis Wave and stuff. Lands, I did add the shocks in here, which did add some cost to the deck, but feel free to cut those. But other than the shock lands, I put like the bounce land, the bounce lands in here, Drowned Catacombs, like the check lands there. Opulent Palaces in here rather than a Triome, and then I put the Pain lands in as well. Well, let me know how I did. Like I said, I am not a huge graveyard player. Zoo Ifit is about the only deck I have that really interacts with my graveyard, but I wanted to give it the old college try, and you know what? Actually, getting requests like this is really, really good, because every one of us, whether it be me, you, the prof, anybody, everybody can learn a little bit more and expand their horizons when it comes to deck building and Magic the Gathering, and this is one way that I got that opportunity. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to build this Teval deck. I've got a few more viewer requests that I got to get done. And, you know, there's a few more Legends from Lorwyn I'd like to do, and a few other Legends I have up on the docket, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, I'm Wester with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.